flu-like condition that you are getting now, we're just telling folks treat it as COVID because it is coming in so many phases that you're unaware of. And the viral shedding is real. The vaccine or virus shedding, it is real. And the thing is, what the term of viral shedding, it's coming up. So let me just do preamps. But let's go on. Okay, great. Thank you for your responses. So a global pandemic or pestilence has taken the world by storm, and every country has been impacted. So we look at Matthew 24, and we're hearing about wars and rumors of wars. And here Jesus was talking to his disciples way back, like 2,000 plus years ago, sharing with them about what to look forward to at the end of time. And we all could agree that, yes, we are here at the end of time. And so what shall these signs be? And there shall be wars, rumors of wars. We're hearing that in a real way today. And also there would be famines and pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. And even the temperature will be increased. And we're looking at global warming and all of these things that is happening in quick succession, and even multiple of them happen at the same time. That there isn't anyone here, whether you're believing in Christ or not, you can have conversations with people on the street, and they're like in a country, what is happening? What is happening? Violence, behaviors that have just gone erratic in our children, in our schools. I spoke to somebody last week where, they said that this little child had attention deficit disorder, but was vaccinated, and everybody, the teachers and all of them, have just recognized escalation in the behaviors, uncontrollable behaviors. And so it is just like hitting everyone, the young, the middle age, everybody, the seniors, everyone. And the folks are recognizing that people have changed. Folks have grown cold. They're no longer caring or have compassion or being empathetic. And we are here. We are here. But there's one thing that we're also counseled. It is that towards the end of time, there are going to be two lines of ministry that will stand out and hold up
Recording in progress.
I'm trying, you don't know. But I am just, her entire body just felt so weighted. Just to move was taking a lot from her. And so we got maybe about 200 yards or so, not far. And I said, okay, stop. Let's turn around and take some deep breaths. Take some deep breaths, calm down, take some deep breaths. And I'd turn around and go back home. So we did. And she said, I really was praying that God would tell you to do that. So we went back. But then I had to give her the oregano oil. I tried it before and she was hesitant. And but I just wait, sometimes you get resistance from some of the folks who visit. And I just let them, and within, as long as it's safe, continue in themselves, the benefits of what we're trying to get. So I said to her, you need to get the oregano oil. It's going to help you. It's going to open up your lungs and everything. It's going to help. And she said, really? Yes. So I gave it a her. And soon enough, she was able to do better. She was not doing as great. And then I kept saying, if you continue to let me give you the oregano oil, you're going to get better. And she said, it's not going to do the good. I said, yes, it's going to help you. It's going to help kill the COVID-19 virus in your system and the spike protein in your system. And we continue working, giving the protocols and oregano and other things. And her energy restored. The fatigue went away. And today she's able to walk miles without any exertion. And give God praise. She's so amazed. She's losing her weight. Her health has improved. She's feeling great, looking more beautiful than ever. And, being able to, one of her goals was to live a life and to be able to represent Christ in terms of her outer body and so forth. So there is a solution. God has granted us this. You may have other solutions in your part of the world, but let's look at what has been working. Our protocol has gone to everywhere, from the east end to the west end of our globe, and people have been using it with great success. How do you contract COVID-19 and experience all these flu-like symptoms? And I tell you, treat everything as COVID because it is. You can find that you get these droplets from people that come through this talking tubes, and just within their closed circuit that you can get sick. Just Friday, 2 days ago, we had a visitor at our home, and she came from another country, and she was visiting. She was vaccinated, we knew. And my husband is dropping her back to her destination. He said, the glass was up and everything with the air condition on. But yesterday we were talking, and somehow in the conversation I mentioned, the viral shedding and how I wasn't feeling too great, so I had to take because of somebody that I had in my office, and they were viral vaccine shedded on. That person was in the midst of a friend who was vaccinated, in addition to the 17-month-old baby, and that was also vaccinated. And that person broke out with a lot of headaches and the brain fog, where she would be seeing things and saying things that just didn't make sense that nobody else saw. In addition, she got some rash on her chest that was itching and burning. And from the time she sat in my office and started to describe what was happening to her, I just smiled and I said, I know what's wrong with you. And then so I took some more details and I said, what has happened is that you've been infected by someone around you who has had COVID or vaccinated. And she said, my goodness, I spent 2 weeks at my friend's home, and they were recently, boosted and stuff. And it's from then I started to feel so unwell. Yes. So I gave her the detox, to go away with. And so a couple of days later, I'm just getting these headaches, and I don't get headaches. So I'm getting these headaches, and it's why, I go, I wet my head, I soak in water, it calmed down, but then it would just numb and come back. And I said, oh my, I've been expecting this. I had somebody with me. And so I took the oregano oil, it calmed down. I didn't take it in 12 hours time again. So after 24 hours, the headache came back. That meant that the virus within my system was not completely gone. And so that's what you have to do. You have to hit it, in order to get rid of it. And so I just had to take protocol again. When I was talking about stuff, my husband said, well, wait a minute, do you mean that could happen? I was in the vehicle, air conditioned on, with this person. And once I dropped her off, I just started having running nose. My head was feeling really weird. My body was aching. I said, yes. In a short space of time, like about 30 minutes of that connect. And I mean, well, he was like talking for hours, a couple hours before. But just within that connection, and he was like, okay, let me get my stuff now. And it would just go away. So we battle with it every day still. And that's why I tell you that that treat everything as COVID with these protocols, and it will help. So viral shedding is an infected person who's been vaccinated or infectious, and they can shed the virus on you, and it is so contractable. This picture sort of like shows, all these green areas, somebody with the virus in their lungs could be coughing, speaking, and all of those droplets on surfaces. And then you come within that environment and you touch and you're engaging, and it's so contractible. So what are the remedies that we're talking about? And I promised to look at the chat. Okay. So what are these remedies that we're going to talk about? And it is natural remedies that God has placed for us. Here is this beautiful quotation coming from Second Selected Messages, page 298. It says, always study and teach the use of the simplest remedies, and the special blessing of the Lord may be expected to follow the use of these means, which are within the reach of the common people. So just teach the message in a simple way, items that you can use, items that individuals have right within their home. We'll show you the super flu bomb, items that you have right within your kitchen.
Recording stopped.
Items that you have, we have the recording on these, right within the kitchen that you would be able to utilize. While individuals, whoever is responsible for the recording, it told me stop. I'm not seeing it running either. Okay, so 1,000 shall fall on our side, but God is going to hold you up. He's promised to provide and to keep us up. Now, God has pledged himself to keep this living machinery in helpful action. And if the human agent will obey his laws and cooperate with God, he is going to bless you. So as you learn about the laws of health and you put it into practice, God has pledged himself to keep us and to provide for us. So I'm not sure if the organizers...
Recording in progress.
Thanks. All right. So he's promised to keep us and pledged himself to keep us in good health and to provide for our needs. This is super beautiful. He says that the Lord has provided antidotes for disease in simple plants, and these can be used by faith with no denial of faith, or by using the blessings provided by God for our benefit. We are cooperating with him. If you use these by faith, it took faith in order for individuals to apply the natural remedies for the COVID and be recovered. I know of others who did not believe in the natural remedies, who said, I'm going to take my Tylenol and other medication and it's going to blow over. And they died. And right within a home where the natural remedy was available, there was this particular family where the husband, just as a precaution, started to take the flu bomb. Told wife, take the flu bomb too. No, she didn't want to take it. And she got COVID. He was there with her. He did not get it. She went to the hospital, and then when she saw what was happening and people laboring for breath and so forth, she was like, "Bring me the super flu bomb and bring me the oregano and bring me everything," because she wanted to be better. But had she taken by faith, taken the super flu bomb as a precaution like he did, she would have gotten sick. And it is as simple as that. And we've seen it multiple times in different families. There was one little grandmother said, "No, I'll do my own thing. I don't want what you guys are using, the super flu bomb and all the supplements and the different things." And she died. So folks needed to have exercised their faith in God, use His remedies, and they lived. And it's such a blessing to see that individuals would go back and be retested. They were positive for COVID. They used the natural remedies, and then they would go back and be retested, and they were all cleared, in a short space of time. I'm talking like within 48 hours. So it is, putting the doing what it's required, stepping out, and using these simple remedies, which every family needs to be educated on in order to help themselves to be relieved from sickness, suffering, and that also it might be prevented. Because you would hear, from the time you feel the first symptom, get on the protocol, and you would save yourself a whole lot. So first key thing is to build your immune system as a preventative. And, you can go on walking daily. But more than that, now, if not ever before, but now more than ever, get on a total plant-based diet. If you're still eating meat, pray to God, you need to make your decision and step forward to get on a total plant-based diet. Because unless you do, you're compromising your system. Inflammation. COVID-19 is highly inflammatory. And you're also putting your body into a state where you have all of these additional comorbidities to tend with. So imagine you have COVID in a severe state and you have diabetes. Your glucose levels is just spiraling high because infection can do that. And or you find that certain things that you could have or not have in terms of the remedies. So reduce your risk of getting other, communicable, non-communicable diseases. And actually, so your blood pressure, that isn't communicated to you. You find that your glucose levels, that's not spread. Your diabetes and so forth, those are things that you bring on yourself. And so what you can do now in terms of a total plant-based diet is the way to go. And remove, your dairy, your fish, your caffeine, your sugar, alcohol, tobacco, etc. Get rest and all of the laws of health. Get adequate sunlight, drink lots of water. Those would help to keep you strong. It is a lack of these things that make the human body sick. And so getting sun baths is important. Here we're at the center, and these are some of our folks taking their sun bath as part of our regime during the day. And when we got, in my family, we got COVID, and so as soon as the first symptom, we woke up one morning and felt really foggy and headache. I said to my husband, "I have a headache." He said, "Yes, he does too." We knew we were exposed the day before, and we said, "Okay, we've got COVID." We placed a mattress outside and lay there in the sun almost all day. And we did not get sick in a severe way. In fact, we just got energized, solar power energy, and was able to fight that off. So get your sunlight. And if you get COVID or as a means of prevention, sunbathing is this. You see, we put a cold rag on the head. It tends to keep the person cool and they're able to tolerate more. Contrast showers, hot and cold contrast showers, anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes of hot. And then at 30 seconds, you turn the faucet quickly on the cold and you take cold. And if you did 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, and you do that 3 rounds of it, it's going to help build your immune system. So those are some of the things in it, that we can mention. What are the symptoms? Folks who have fever, coughing, sore throat, runny nose, chest pain, diarrhea, headaches, pneumonia, sneezing, all of these, just a general feeling of unwellness. All of those are symptoms of COVID. Shortness of breath, fatigue, chest tightness. All of these things may seem so just common, normal. Yes, it could be contributed to other conditions as well. But at the same time, we see it. We see where there are pains all over the body. Folks just don't understand what's going on with them. They're just not feeling well. Kidney issues, heart-related issues, simply from having COVID and its variants. And so once we say, okay, let's go to work, apply the protocol, it clears up the situation. So let us hit it hard, fast, and frequent. And this is your mantra to remember. I feel weird. I feel something. I have the runny nose, the itching eyes, my head hurts. Hit it hard, fast, and frequent. All right? That means get the protocol and repeat it. Just work on it until everything goes away. Do it quickly. Don't delay. Sometimes you feel a nag and you say, I'm going to wait till the morning time. No. There are times that I have folks, I'm in their presence. I know that they were sick. And by evening into the night, I feel a lump in my throat. And I said, okay, I feel a little itch, a little sore. And I say, okay, I've gotten something. I get up one time and go and take either golden seal or my oregano oil, and that's it. I wake up in the morning, nothing. But if you delay, you wake up in the morning and yes, it's not the time to escalate in your system. So hit it frequently until it's gone. Now, there are some essential oils that are quite helpful that you can have within your room and just have it vaporized. Peppermint, eucalyptus, oregano, you can use them in isolation better if they're combined. And you can infuse that in your room, or sometimes you can add this to some coconut oil and mix it, and just you can rub it on your chest, put it on your clothing so that you inhale. In fact, when individuals had difficulty with breathing, the oxygen saturation level is low in their blood, we had instances of those in the midst of COVID where people were even in the hospital, and they're checking their sat rates, and they're looking at their oxygen levels just lower. Once they started to inhale either put it on their clothing or on their pillow or something and inhale the peppermint, it helped to improve the oxygen levels in their blood and help them to improve on their breathing. They were now able to take deeper breaths. So the peppermint was quite essential for that. The eucalyptus, sometimes you rub it under the feet and put on a socks at night, and that works for you while you're sleeping. And the oregano, it is like what one very sick person called the game changer. There was this gentleman out in New York, and we actually worked with New York City when the COVID-19 was in its height. and that was back in 2020. And what happened is that this gentleman, he was sick for 2 weeks, not even eating anything except a handful of grapes. He was very weak, could not walk or hold himself up or nothing. And the missionaries got so concerned. He just seemed to be going down, and people were dying. And so they got together and they put, a nice package together to take to his home, gave it to his family, and said, let him take this. They made the flu bomb. And all of this was happening in the middle of the night. They were just, driving around. What do you have? What do you have? And took stuff from people and took it to his home to save his life. So they made a super flu bomb. They started to give it to him. But they also said, use the drops of the oregano oil. And when he got that oregano oil, it was just like he lit up, as though energy was immediately restored. From that moment, he said it was like a game changer for him, because that just brought him back to life. It can literally, the studies have shown, scientific studies have shown that it can kill the spike protein. And so he recovered. In fact, it was about the Wednesday, and by the Thursday evening, he was feeling so well that he said, I want to go walking. And he was laid down in bed for 2 weeks. He could not even stand up on his own. And within a 24 to 40 to 36 hours, he was saying, I want to go walking. I am feeling so better. I want to get out into the fresh air. And, we give God the praise for that. So what is the super flu bomb and its content? And, okay. All right. So here we have turmeric, all right, the yellow root. We also have ginger. We got garlic, onions, lemon, cayenne pepper, honey, and water. That's it. These are the ingredients for the super flu bomb. We have these things in our kitchen. You have these things in your kitchen, and if you're missing any, have it. Get it. Sometimes even the lemons, you can squeeze them and keep it in a freezer, so that you have, when it's not in season. Some people slice and dehydrate them. So these are simple. Remember that quotation, what God gave the instructions and the message to teach the people the simple remedies. Not everybody could get access to the supplements, but they can access these anywhere in the world. And as a matter of fact, any part of this protocol works. If you don't have the cayenne, it's okay. The rest of the protocol works. I don't like burning stuff, and I didn't make mine with the cayenne when I had COVID, and it still worked. And so any part of it would work, a combination of the items, however, not in isolation. I've had numerous people who would say, I'm doing ginger and garlic, I'm doing the turmeric alone as a tea, and that didn't help them. And I said, no, come, let's put it together, add all of these. So the more you have of the ingredients, the better it would be. And then you put it to work. And that is what helped individuals to recover. Upon the first symptom, if you can take a laxative, then that would be good. So it just clear the bowels so that the body can focus on healing. You find that when people are sick, they don't eat much food. It's because the body wants to focus on recovery. So these are different options. Whatever laxative you have at your disposal, but have one, then that's going to help you. Either it's psyllium husk, casagrada, senna, or lemon juice with castor oil, or some folks use sea salt. But whatever it might be, take a purge, clear the bowels, and you go to work. Even if you didn't get to do this from the first moment, a couple hours later, it's still helpful. This is the oregano oil that we use. It's a food, it's able to be ingested. So there's some, and it's 100% pure. There's some that are mixed with some other oil, but try to get it plain. 100% of oregano oil. It's very concentrated. Do not take it directly. It must be mixed with something. Either you mix it in water, you add it to juice, or you can add it to a tablespoon of olive oil as a carrier oil, and then you ingest it. Or coconut oil, you put a coconut oil on your spoon or your olive oil on your spoon, and then you add the drops of the oregano. One of the things that we've recognized with COVID-19 virus and its variants is that it has increased in its power over time. So you find that we in the earlies we used 10 drops, and that would have been sufficient. But it has escalated in its intensity, and therefore we have had to increase the number of drops in order to get the same beneficial effect like what we're looking for. So we have actually brought it like 20 drops of the oregano oil to the olive oil. That's what I do, and it would help. It would make the difference. Okay, so it is very hot. So when you're taking it, expect that it will be hot in your mouth. What I do, I think I have a picture somewhere along the line, but I literally get a spoon, put my olive oil, don't fill the entire spoon with the olive oil, but then I put my drops, count 1, 2, 3, up to the 20, and I ingest that. I will quickly have a glass of hot water on the side. I drink my hot water, so the heat, the body and the brain can only tolerate and think about one heat at a time, okay, one burning sensation at a time. I immediately switch by drinking the hot water now to let my brain think and feel the heat from the hot water in the mouth. At the same time, it's washing down the solution. And then I get a cube of ice and I just put it in and move it around in the mouth, and all that's calmed down quickly. All right, so I tell you, it's very hot. Don't let it get on your lips, or else it can burn your lips. If you feel any burning on your lips, simply take some ice and rub your lips with it, and it will calm down and prevent your lips from being burnt. Don't take it directly in under your tongue to the back of your throat. No, it is not just hot, it can burn your skin. So you don't want that. And in an oil, you use a carrier oil, it works nicely because they tend to just blend into each other. If you're pregnant, do not use oregano oil. It can abort or disturb that pregnancy. For a woman, you find that it can just bring on your menstrual flow sooner than later. Oregano is estrogenic in nature. If you have hormonal cancer, don't use oregano for extended periods of time. If you do have COVID or its variants, you can use it in the moment, but not to use it continuously as a preventative measure. Okay. So even when we use oregano oil, it's not like we are using it every day. So I see a question here that some is saying it's not good for the liver. Oregano is food. Okay, so it is food in a concentrated form, yes. However, it is not something that we would say to use because folks may say I'm on the front line and I have sisters who are doctors and nurses and were on the front line from the beginning of COVID, and they utilized it, drops, and they actually added theirs to juice, or they did the flu bomb as well. So we have had individuals on the front line who would use the flu bomb as a preventative. But they were able, by the use of these natural remedies from the get-go, to use it, and they never got COVID during that time in the heights of COVID. It's when things calmed down, they let their guard down and they picked it up and quickly were able to get rid of it. But yeah, question, could you use the leaves instead? If you use the leaves, you'll have to make it very strong. Recognizing dried leaves are more potent than the green leaves. You have to use a lot more and make it very strong. But the effectiveness of this, the other day I had someone come to my office, a gentleman, and from the moment he sat down, well, he was unwell. He had all his nose running. Well, I just opened the door and the windows one time, did not put the AC on, kept the room airy, okay? And I said, just continue to fill out some information on the form for me, and I'm coming. I went away, I brought the oregano oil and with the hot water and stuff on a tray, and I said, let me give you this. And so I gave him a dose of oregano. Immediately, he wiped his nostrils, but that was it. He spent about 2 hours with me because he was doing some other things. And that was it. He never had a runny issue again. It all just cleared. He went away with his bottle of oregano oil and the remedies and so forth. And one of the things that was so fascinating is that he mentioned, that his blood was dark red, thick like molasses, and he was vaccinated. So he recognized that, when he did some blood work earlier, that was the state of his blood. As he went away, used the protocol, like I'm going to be sharing with you now. As he used the protocol, and he later on a couple of weeks later, went on to do some blood work. His blood was bright red, flowing freely. Even the doctor recognized and said, wow, look at the state of your blood. It's like better, of course, cleaner and cleaned up from the effects of the spike protein. Can you give it to a baby is a question here. No, don't give it to tiny babies. If the baby is breastfeeding, then give it to the mom. Then the mom can take it morning and evening, and then it would be broken down in a way that the baby would be able to tolerate. All right, so we wouldn't give it to babies. Is it safe for children? Yes, children, and it's important to look at a protocol and see how much you can give to children. The toddlers can get, and as they come up, they can get. I have a nephew. He's 10 now, but when I was 8, I used to give him 8 drops, and he would call it the peppery, and it'd be fine. But yeah, so it's coming up. We have the guidelines for the children. Vitamin D is important to add, as I showed you the sunbathing, but also vitamin D has antiviral and microbial properties and quite helpful in this. High amounts of vitamin D used 30,000 international units and 2 times a day for 3 days, and then you break that down to taking about 10,000 international units consistently. So here's the breakdown for what you do on other times. But initially, if you bring high amounts of vitamin D in, then it can shorten your time of contraction. Zinc has been shown through the scientific studies to prevent the virus from getting into your cells. So virus, that's what they do. They hijack your cells and use its mechanism to multiply the virus itself in your body. But zinc can break that. Vitamin D can break that, so that you don't get infected as much if you incorporated zinc as a preventative, anywhere from 30 to 50 milligrams. Or if you do have the virus, from the first, you increase that anywhere up to 100 milligrams on a day. Once your symptoms goes over, you drop the dose. But zinc must be added with copper in order for you to have the benefit. So you can use like a small dose of copper, like 3 milligrams, or you can get blackstrap molasses, has copper in it, and use it along with your zinc. A B complete or B complex is very helpful. Probiotics, while you're taking all of these, is also helpful. So those are some of the supplements that we have used, and you bring that into the body. So let me show you what the superflu bomb looks like. Now, the superflu bomb, these are the ingredients which you have in your home that you can make it today. Could you store the superflu bomb? It can lose its potency if you freeze it over time. I know some folks used to use it, if they think that they're daily exposed, they would freeze it in ice cubes and then just pop 1 or 2 before leaving home. But it's better that you make a fresh batch and you drink it out within a day or 2, and that is going to be quite effective. Superflu bomb, God provided the information remedy for such a time as we needed, and this is what we show you here. Now, I'm going to call this one the following here, original, because this is what it is, and there are variations to it. We had to do that because individuals would present themselves with COVID-19 as well as with diabetes or high blood pressure or autoimmune conditions, and the question, or acid reflux, and the question would come up, how best can I use this? If I have acid reflux, the lemon can make it worse, the cayenne can make it worse. So how do I use this? So we'd show you what the original set of ingredients are and how to use it, and then introduce you to the variations depending on the underlying conditions. All right, so superflu bomb, the turmeric, how much is important? So the quantity, about 6 inches of the root, or if you have the powder, 3 tablespoons of the powder. If you introduce less, then you find it is not as potent and would not be as effective. So this is over. Now, we have tested this in the beginning. We would test with folks, see how best it worked for them, what we needed to improve. And like I said, because the virus, it has grown in its intensity, we have actually increased some of these. In the beginning, it would have been like 2 tablespoons, but we've increased it to match with us now. So all this, or 3 tablespoons of ginger powder, garlic, cloves of the garlic. That's a whole bulb of the garlic. Yes, all of that you need. 2 medium onions and lemon juice. You can have like 12 tablespoons of lemon juice or more. But 12 tablespoons would be sufficient. This is your vitamin C in here. And then you can have your cayenne pepper, which is 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper or 5 open capsules of cayenne pepper. The higher the heating units of cayenne pepper, the better. This is 90,000 heating units. If you have less, use it, but it's going to still help, but the higher value was helpful. And then honey, you can use 5 tablespoons of honey. If one is diabetic, do not use the honey. Just use it plain without that sweetener. Diabetics should not use sweeteners. And then water, 2 cups of hot water. You put that into a blender and you blend it together. And then now I've had individuals who have said to me, I have no blender. That's okay. Then you take these items either in powder form, and whatever is in root or solid, you grate it. Same concept, but you grate these items and then you mix it in the hot water. It's easy, and then you let it So you would then therefore take 12 tablespoons every 30 minutes. 12 tablespoons, you fill it in a little glass, and then you start drinking at it. If you want to add more water to make it more fluid, fine. But that's what we wanted, that concentration. And if individuals, they're now going to use the superflu balm, they have had the virus for about a week, you find that the virus is now settled, taken root in the body. They're probably having some heavy coughs. You want to take 8 tablespoons every 15 minutes in shorter time frame. In acute conditions, you just hit the body, hit it, take more, and in broken up sessions, and that's going to be helpful to you. Okay, so this you try and consume this within a day. Don't say I take a little cup and I leave the rest off for tomorrow. No, hit it within a day. If you did it with such intensity on day 1, then by 2, you don't have to do it as much, because you will feel and see the fast improvement. And day 2 doesn't have to be as many times. And you're just doing this while you have symptoms. Once your symptoms are gone, that's it. You don't need to continue. And what we've seen in severe cases, you've had a heavy virus situation. Do it 2 or 3 times, morning and evening, morning, lunch, evening, and just to clear your body from it, and that would work well. Individuals, especially, they can have others in their home who continue to be sick, still take it, because you don't want to be reinfected, and it can help you well. So there are other items and variations. Once a person has acid reflux, you can add slippery elm to the mixture, or marshmallow to the mixture, and that would help to soothe the lining of the stomach. There are folks who actually opted to make it into a syrup, like you have a syrup, you have this superflu balm syrup. And so they were adding more amounts of honey. You can add half cup of honey and make it thick, and it's more pleasant, like a syrup. Again, if you're diabetic, do not. So the same ingredients, but just with some slight variations depending. Now, this is the one that I like, to make it like a juice. And so for same ingredients, but you're just going to juice, add some more. So the garlic, the turmeric, ginger, garlic, onions, lemon, cayenne pepper, honey, and water. And you blend that. Once you blend it, it's quite fluid. It could be a little thick. What I would is to add some more lemon juice and water, and I'm tasting till I'm happy. So you get the major things in, and then you get on. But one of the things is that you find for some folks, you can get this harsh taste of the ginger, the garlic, and so they can steam it just for 5 minutes. Not mixing in water. You put it in a colander. You're steaming these ingredients for about 5 minutes to break down that harsh fermentation that you might get from the garlic or the ginger, and then blend all together. In this way, it works more pleasant even for the juice. I would add some more lemon, more water, till it's fluid that you can drink it with a straw. And then I just pour into a glass, and I'm drinking that multiple time with using a straw. And just like you have your glass of water on the side, I have my glass of the superflu balm juice, and I will drink all of that content within a day. And once you get through the first day, you would be fine the following day. You would get the ease. Others we did it for them like in the form of a soup, and you saw where like individuals who were in the hospitals and you probably couldn't take things to them, but you could carry a little. We sort of made it into a soup, and that happened during us, where there was this particular sister who had the COVID, and they brought soup for her, the super flu bomb soup for her every day, and she took it, and she was able to recover quickly and come out. And that was crucial in the midst of where people around you were dying. That you were able to get something that can help you to live. That was so real and still is. That individuals by using this can be helpful instead. Could you use molasses instead of honey? Yeah, you can. If you could tolerate the molasses taste, that's fine. Now, honey also has antibacterial properties in it, so came in there nicely. Okay, some of us, yeah, I imagine some people may not know all of the herbs, but we'll get over that. Is a super flu bomb used before a meal or after a meal? You use them in between your meal times. Yeah, in between your meal times. But again, when folks are sick, they don't want much food. So you find that, and remember, if in the acute phase at the startup every 30 minutes or an hour, you did this, it will be helpful to you. If folks think that the acid is too much on their throat, with the lemon, then you can steam it. Once you steamed it, it would break down that harshness for them. Could you use normal water for the juice? Because you steamed, you would have brought out certain properties in them. Even if we use hot water to make the blend, it would soon cool. Especially when I added more water, it was more room temperature water. Yeah, it would soon cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is the soup, same thing, just that you add no honey, of course, you put salt to taste, and you could have added other things like thyme, the oregano leaves, the cilantro, those tend to have antiviral properties in them, and you blend it, and it's like a puree, you eat it up like a soup. And if you find that a person hasn't had an appetite and not eating, then you can add some potatoes to that and let them eat. And they were able to still get it in and be helpful. So you will add 3 cups of hot water. You're passing it over the heat, as well to make it quite palatable and. Soon switch off, and of course the potatoes need to be cooked. So cook the potatoes on the side, and then you add it on into your mix, and you have your soup. A nice warm bowl of that 3 times a day was helpful. So what I'll do, watching my time. So again, the session is recorded. You can always review the recording and pause to see information, and hopefully you get the full pack details that has all of the details. So in immunity, there are some folks with autoimmune condition, and for them it would be different. So they didn't add the super flu bomb. We have some different items in here. Astragalus, boswellia, 1 tablespoon astragalus root, 1 tablespoon of boswellia burdock root. These are herbal agents. Echinacea, 1 spoon. Garlic, 1 tablespoon of the garlic powder. Mullein leaf, olive leaf, and paniaco. Now, some of these items may not be recognized, call the same name in your region. Okay? If you looked online for it, You use what you have. Echinacea could be most likely universal. The garlic, olive leaf, you might know. Burdock is pretty common. Astragalus, maybe. So use what you have, and things that can be immune boosters. If you were to research on herbs that are great for building your immune system, then make a tea out of those things and drink it. If you have an autoimmune condition, then that can help you even there. Just mouthfuls at a time of your tea that you will drink over the course of the day, and let it draw. Once you blend combine your items in hot water, you want to cover it and let it draw for at least 4 hours before you start to consume. Strain and drink mouthfuls at a time during the day. So for the high blood pressure situation, if somebody had high blood pressure, that's what you do. Notice that the cayenne is not in this mix. So we actually remove the cayenne in a hypertensive situation. Most likely the person is on medication already, having blood thinning medication. So you want to take that cayenne out. But the other ingredients, they could have. If the person had low blood pressure too low, what did we do? Reduce the garlic instead of 10 cloves to 5 cloves. And because the garlic can tend to lower the blood pressure situation, there is licorice root that you can add because licorice tends to increase blood pressure. So in a low blood pressure state, adding licorice root to the combination was helpful. You find that if you have one has high blood pressure, do not use licorice. If you have high blood pressure, do not use licorice. It can send it up even further. But if it's low, you can bring in the licorice. If your blood pressure is low, then you can make a mix of licorice, ginger, cayenne, and that's some water and drink it up. And then 6 inches of ginger, and you add 2 tablespoons of licorice, and then you add some cayenne to that. You mix it in some water, about 10 ounces, and you just sip on that. You can bring your blood pressure back up. And the salt broth. Now, why? Because when you add these things, the ginger, the garlic, the onions, and so forth, it tends to sort of break it down, bring down the blood pressure. You'll have low blood pressure already, but by adding the licorice or the salt water back, sip, can bring the blood pressure back up. So you're sort of like balancing your system with those cautions. But garlic, use less. Diabetes, very important. With the diabetes, notice same ingredients: turmeric, ginger, garlic, onions, lemon, cayenne pepper, water, but no honey, no sweeteners for the diabetics. And that's it. So the diabetics can use it, but with no sweeteners. What about if individuals have gastritis, that burning sensation in their stomach, acid reflux, stomach ulcers? Ginger, turmeric, garlic, onions, honey, and water. Even this in its combination, if they find that it still irritates their stomach, heat it up. Steam it. Your ginger, steam it before you make the blend, and it would bring that harsh sensation, and they would be able to tolerate it better. So notice no cayenne in here, and no lemons either for the stomach issues. Now, just on a sideline, we remove cayenne and lemon juice in the flu balm. Now, for the gastritis, These herbs are helpful. Slippery elm or marshmallow, they tend to coat the stomach. Okay, let me give you another one that can help to keep your stomach nice and comfortable. You know, linseed or flaxseed. If you took your linseed or your flaxseed and you put it in water, say 1/4 cup of your linseed, and you put that in 2 cups of water, and you bring it to a boil. Once it starts bubbling up, say, good, it's boiling. Then you switch off the stove and you strain that immediately. You will get a nice fluid-like substance, the fluid, right? And then you put that on the side and let it cool. And you can actually ingest that to help to soothe your burning stomach. I have used that with individuals and myself too. If sometimes the flu balm, don't take it in the night, huh? Don't take flu balm in the late evening to the night because it's going to rest on your stomach too long. So start from mid-morning in the daytime. So that happened to me. I was busy all day, and in the evening took the flu balm, and it rested on my stomach and burned. So I took that same linseed, made that gel, got the gel out from it, and I put in like a handful of almond nuts, or you can use almond milk, and blended it over. It became quite fluid, like a drink. And then I was happily just drinking that, and it soothed the stomach and took that burning sensation away. So that's a nice, easy item that you would be able to find, and it would be helpful. Individuals who have ulcers, here's a natural remedy for you that you could juice 1/4 of a cabbage and consume 4 ounces of that cabbage juice 30 minutes before consuming your food. That is quite healing to your stomach ulcer. And do that within about 7 days. You know, every time before your meal, drink of 4 ounces, and it will help to quell any burning sensation, but at the same time heal your stomach ulcer. All right, so doing this item raw could take a toll on your thyroid gland. That's why we say not to use it for extended periods of time. Adding kelp or like iodine to your food intake or as a supplement can help with bringing back the balance in your body, because the cruciferous cabbage family tends to rob your body from your thyroid gland, particularly from absorbing iodine. Okay, we will have a break shortly as we switch into the other next presentation. Yeah, for some people with ginger, I'm seeing a comment about ginger with high blood pressure, that it could elevate. Yes, for some it can. Not everybody gets impacted in the same way. So if you see that your blood pressure is increased, when you use ginger, it increases, but you just leave the ginger out and use the other ingredients in your in the combination there. Nice point, because it can elevate, but not with everybody. Okay, so blood thinners. Again, some of these items can thin the blood. So we use like oregano oil, golden seal, vitamin C with bioflavonoids, B complete, vitamin D, zinc, and probiotic. All right. I am going to just go through some other key points. This is what the flu balm can look like. Yeah, you can make a nice big batch for your family. That probably would look like the juice. Individuals may have kidney issues. So if you do, you can use this as well. You could use this, but also we give some recommendations for kidney. Oregano oil is quite helpful for restoring kidney function. as well as getting rid of kidney and bladder infection. We've had individuals like that with kidney infection or bladder infection. In fact, one gentleman, he was at the hospital and sick with COVID and had kidney issues, and we was able to get him to use the organ capsules, and that worked as well. And he was able to get the kidney infection went away when the doctors were baffled with his kidney infection and the antibiotics wasn't working, but the oregano capsules neutralized and helped him to get rid of his infection as well as his COVID. The vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C with bioflavonoids, notice is 2,000 milligrams twice daily. With intense situation, it might be 2,000 milligrams 3 times daily. Using a probiotic can help to restore gut flora and take your probiotics before a meal, about 15 minutes before your meals. A nice B complex. This is an renal state. And in addition, we find that there are certain herbs that helps with repairing the kidneys. Parsley, uva ursi, and corn silk. Uva ursi and corn silk in combination. I put them in like an equal portions in a Ziploc bag. You shake it up, and then you scoop out about 2 tablespoons of that, and you add it to like about 4 cups of hot water, and you can add golden seal to that as well. And this tends to help to restore kidney function in those with kidney issues. Again, individuals who are pregnant, do not take oregano. Do not take oregano, please. That's not going to be helpful to you. What I need to do is to send to the facilitators booklet. We actually have a nice booklet with all of these recommendations on it. It's on our other website that I'll place in the chat, and you would be able to get the handout for this. It's in English, of course, but you would be able to get the handout that has all the details. And see, you utilize your prenatal, you'll be able to take vitamin D, kelp, zinc, and your probiotic. Even the flu bomb. Pregnant moms can take. I had a pregnant woman. She was able to take the flu bomb, but leaving the turmeric up because it can thin the blood, especially if the pregnancy is close to delivery. And but they can use these items. There's some other nice. This is the one where moms are breastfeeding. And it gives the guidance as to how best to take the oregano oil. It's sort of like mapped out what a day looks like for you and when to take the oregano oil at 6 a.m. and at 6 p.m. and how to feed your baby or express the breast milk so that you don't have the baby being fed or express milk too close to that time when you're taking the oregano oil. So it's a little way of working it out, and we had breastfeeding moms who were able to do that with success, and at the same time breastfeed their baby. So by looking at specific times, you'll find that I'm not going into all the detail because we have another presentation coming up shortly, and I want to be able to give adequate time to that as well. So this topic is quite extensive, and it could literally take the 4 hours by itself, especially once you go into explaining the details. And as medical missionaries, of course, it's very important for you to be able to understand. Our children, we were able to utilize oregano, golden seal, probiotic, vitamin D, and vitamin C from even toddlers. And it's been tried, tested, utilized with good success for children. Even some of our staff with their particular children. And at the same time, somebody's asking about Oregon and their children when pregnant. Be cautious with it. Just let's utilize the other items. All right, so we have it for children. Again, you really need to get the handout. I will, when we have the break, put sort of drop the document into the chat. So hopefully you're able to download it. And even on our website, I'll put the direct link there to take you straight to our COVID-19 page, where you would be able to download the document quite easily. Let me just move on to some really nice, helpful things. This is the onion poultice, quite helpful to children as well as adults, and I love it, where you literally take a napkin, paper tissue, and you slice up your onions, and you fold in the napkin like this, and this part you're putting it under your feet, in that core area under your feet, and you band this in place, put on a socks, and sleep with it through the night, and this works for you. In fact, under your feet, just rub a little olive oil in the middle portion, core portion, olive oil, coconut. You can even put some eucalyptus oil there. But the onion, you want to put that under the core part of your feet. You band it up in place with those bands from the pharmacy, and then you put a socks on and keep it on all night while you sleep. It tends to get to your bloodstream and work for you while you're resting, and it takes care of the coughs and the flu and everything, and it works phenomenally for children as well. So children, you tend not to be able to do much with them, but this works. Lemon, this sort of like works. I just want to show you quickly here what it looks like in the day of someone taking these protocols. And in the morning time, you start off with your lemon water and or very warm water. That's going to help bring down mucus, from your head and your area. Vitamin C can also be used, where you have like 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and we take the oregano oil early, first up in the morning time, 20 drops, and you put that either in some thick nectar juice, or you can use, if you're using the juice, nice, you can use a straw and get that in quickly. Or you can put it into the olive oil on the spoon. This is it in the nectar juice, or on the spoon you see the oil, then you drop your oregano oil in there. You simply quickly follow with some hot water, and you'd be fine. Golden seal is an option. If you do not have oregano oil or oregano capsules, then golden seal is also an option that works really nice. 1 teaspoon in water, 5 would be 5 capsules, and you open the capsules, drop it in the water, shake, bitter, but it works. If you have the golden seal extract, 15 drops will be a dose of golden seal extract. Zinc, this is in a state of COVID, you use higher values of zinc, where it would be 90 milligrams of zinc, water 100, and then you follow with copper. You can use 3 milligrams of copper and supplemental form, or 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses. Be complete in the morning. Be complex also is the same thing that would help. One of the things it helps with the fatigue, lingering fatigue that people feel that they have with COVID. Iodine can be helpful, but I haven't naturally used iodine. The vitamin D is great. Certainly have your vitamin D or go out into the sunlight. And if you do not have vitamin D, but in the midst of COVID, if you have your vitamin D supplement, then supplement. Understand that the darker our complexion is, the more sunlight exposure we need. Looking for sunlight exposures anywhere like an hour to an hour and a half. In the midst of the day, hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. During the day is when you can take the flu balm. That came up as a question earlier. When best to take the flu balm? In between your morning and lunchtime, if you're eating, you take the flu balm during the day. And this is another herb, mullein, can be added, especially for the lungs, people coughing. And mullein can be helpful to make mullein as a tea and drink that as well. 2 tablespoons of the mullein herb item in about 4 cups of water, and you boil you pour hot boiling water over it, because most times it would be the leaves that you're having. At lunch, you take your probiotic, you take your B complete again, your vitamin D, the rest of your dose depends on all the measures are given here. If either you take your 10,000 international units on morning, or you break it up 5,000 in the morning, 5,000 at lunchtime. And in the afternoon, you take your vitamin C again. Try not to take your vitamin C too close to when you're taking your probiotic, not at the same time. And in the nighttime before bed, you can take your next dose of your oregano oil. Or your golden seal at night. So you see the oregano, golden seal, morning and evening. Okay, so these are some essential oils. You can have to rub your chest region to help with your respiration, your breathing, and improvement in your lung capacity, as well as coughs. 1 tablespoon of carrier oil or more, because these can be quite helpful. Now, any of the oils, depending on any one of these, you can use eucalyptus, rosemary, thyme, pine, frankincense, of the essential oils that you would add. So if you did one of these, 1 tablespoon. If you're doing more than one, then you need to add some more of the carrier oil, be it olive oil, coconut, grapeseed, almond oil. And you simply make a mixture and you rub your back as well as your chest region. Keep your body warm, and that would help. Okay. In the book Spirit Selected Messages, Volume 2 talks about honey and added to eucalyptus oil. So 1 cup of boiled honey. Now, honey individuals may have, and then you add 8 to 10 drops of eucalyptus oil to that. So you want to take that 2 tablespoons every hour. Folks who have chronic heavy coughs, if you add eucalyptus oil to your honey and you made that syrup and you started to take that 2 tablespoons every hour, it helps to clear up that nicely. All right, so you would read in the handout some more ways in which you can take care of yourself. If you live near the ocean, simply get out there into the sunlight, fresh air, and water. It's like a tonic to the body, and the salt water tends to really wash your COVID away. The Bible talks about washing your sins away by the blood, and they even use water as a symbol for washing away. You have baptism and so forth. When we got COVID, at the end of the week, we journeyed to the sea shore and went into the ocean and bathed. And when we came away, it really felt like washing that COVID away. It was gone. Nothing, no trace of it, gone. And it was tremendous. In the ocean, you have minerals. And that tends to really, take care of the situation. So get out there and help. This is for sore throat. You can band your neck. It gives the instructions. You're taking a cold fabric, cold rag, put that against ice cold water. You bring the rag out, put it against your neck, and you wrap with some plastic, and then you put a scarf on, or you get another fabric and you wrap that, hold it in place, and you can keep that on for several hours or overnight. You will find that it takes care of your sore throat. It would be gone. All right, so that's the hot compress for the sore throat. Can gargle with salt water for sore throat. Even charcoal and garlic can also gargle with that as well for sore throat. Steam vaporizer, put your head over that bowl, add some eucalyptus oil to that, peppermint oil, oregano, and even menthol crystals. And you cover your head with a sheet and you inhale that. For all congestion in the head region, it helps to bring that down. So I want to show you even that nice ways of steaming, doing some sun steams. This is us here at the center. Again, you can be out in the sun and wrap yourself in a sheet and simply sweat. And that's one way of, if you have fever, you can sweat it out and then get rid of that fever. Another nice item that I like to do with the fever, we can do a sauna. That's a picture of our sauna here at the center. Let me see. This one, it's great for even children, where you can take an ounce of coconut oil and squeeze some lemon juice or lime juice in it. Vitamin C tends to get rid of it. So if you squeeze the lime juice or lemon juice in there, you mix it up and just rub the skin. Rub the skin. Rub from head to toe. Add more of these values if you need to, but you really may not. But you rub the entire body, front and back. Remove clothing, whatever, rub everywhere. Really grease up the person and cover them up and put them to sleep. And that will take care of your fevers and get it gone. It works phenomenally for children, and it's quite easy items to get. The coconut oil has antiviral, anti-inflammatory properties. Lemon and vitamin C does as well, and it gets rid of the fevers every time. So, just using these nice little simple remedies there. I'll just take a moment to share with you one or two key items. And again, this is another document that we have that I will send for you. It's a spike protein detox protocol, because individuals have taken the vaccine and want to know what they can do to minimize the effects of it in their body. And I say minimize because there are things that's been injected into folks that's very complex. However, the spike protein bit of it, we're able to help you with that. And we see the benefits when individuals do the different protocols and help themselves. So basically, it's the same items as we had used even when you have COVID. Same kind of things, except for one or two additional items to add. You might have heard about, let me see here, zinc, the copper, digestive enzymes is also helpful. But you might have heard about NAC and acetylcysteine. This helps with the liver cleansing. So the spike protein takes a toll on the liver because of the lipids within the vaccine itself. So it's going to be metabolized by the liver as well as by any other of those toxic compounds. So taking care of your liver is helpful. You have N-acetylcysteine 600 milligrams, or you can substitute this with glutathione, and make sure you eat foods of the cabbage family, and help you to produce the glutathione to help with your liver function. Vitamin C, betaine 80, taken before meals. Get a good multivitamin to take, and the vitamin D3. These are some helpful ones: manganese, selenium, magnesium, quercetin, minerals, sometimes even liquid chlorophyll I would use, and that's as a mineral source to help restore, strengthen the body. If you have a multivitamin with these items in it already, then don't take them in isolation. We don't want to overdose the body system. This is something to pay attention to for your detoxification. It talks about the system cleanse. When folks come, I usually give them, their system cleanse and their detox teas. And we do this especially in the first week of their attending our center. And this is important. 2 tablespoons of burdock, 2 tablespoons of milk thistle, 2 tablespoons of dandelion, and you're getting 5 liters of water. You're adding this in, and you put it in a pot, and then you're adding these herbs to it. Once the water comes to a boil, you cover and you let it simmer for 15 minutes. And then I put one ounce for each herb. So if you want to have ounce measurements, then that's what you're looking for. And then you are going to take 2 tablespoons of echinacea, add it to that. So after this 15 minutes of simmering, switch off the stove. You add 2 tablespoons of echinacea. You stir that around and mix. And then you cover it and let it draw overnight. The next day, you put it into your big gallon, 5-liter gallon, of container, and you keep it in the fridge. And every day you're taking 2 cups of that and you're drinking. It is going to help cleanse your blood, your liver, your kidneys. So it's a system cleanse of those organs, and even helping your immune system to build and restore that with the echinacea. That's 1 tea to drink. Drink 1 cup daily. It's what we call the bitter cup. And it's a combination of 4 tablespoons of cinchona bark and 2 tablespoons of wormwood. If you have the wormwood powder, it's less, 1 tablespoon. And then you want to do the same. You add it to your 5 liters of water. And when the water is boiling, add the herbs. Simmer it, turn the heat down lower, simmer it for 15 minutes, and then switch off the stove. You let that draw overnight as well. And then the next day, you rebottle it. Leave the herbs inside, and every day you just pour out 1 cup daily. And you drink. It tastes bitter, but it works. All right, so 1 cup daily, and you drink that. You drink it, and then you can make another batch if you need to, but this might last you a week. You want to run this for about 14 days. And it helps. I've seen individuals where great improvement after a week of drinking this, especially here at the center when I'm able to step and watch and see what their limitations are. And once they go through this, like about the 8th day, you can literally see a marked improvement with it. Like recently we had someone with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and that gentleman, breathing issues, heavy. He took the vaccine. It got worse after he did. But after 7 days of having him on a protocol along with the oregano oil and the other supplements, on the 8th day, it was a night and day difference. You were able to see his breathing just lower into normalcy. He was just like breathing so calm, normal, not every single breath be laboring for anymore. And it was great, quite recognizable. He felt better, able to do more. So this is key in serrapeptase and nattokinase. Look it up online. You might be able to find it in your part of the world, in your region area. But these are helpful supplements. The same. For women, having tremendous issues following vaccination, or if they live with somebody who has been vaccinated, if they have, sexual relations with someone who's been vaccinated, it can pass on to you. You're exchanging body fluids. It can pass the effects of the vaccine. And sometimes in women not vaccinated, in an office environment where the majority of people are vaccinated, and they find that they have their menstrual cycle out of time and running on for weeks on end. So doing the detox tea as well as the system cleanse, coming in with using Vitex for if you're in your reproductive years, if you're in your menopausal years, then going for black cohosh tends to help to balance your hormones again, increasing vitamin D dose, as well as using liquid chlorophyll, green juices, can help to stem and hold that out of control menstrual cycle, that excessive bleeding. So basically, there's some heavy metal detox that individuals can use: charcoal, bentonite clay, chlorella, spirulina, cilantro. You mix all that into some water and you can drink that to clear all vaccines will have heavy metals in them. Take a purge. Can't do all these cleansing without pushing it out of the body. So once you start drinking those teas, 10 every night, just take a nice little purge, a laxative, Cascara Sagrada, and get it out. As the virus cells start breaking down and dying off, don't keep it in your system, in your colon, get it off. And at night you take your oregano or golden seal. So we'll stop here with this particular presentation, and once I send the handout for you, you will be able to see some additional scenarios and the recommendations, like we have if you have brain injury. Some folks have mental issues or brain related issues, what they can utilize. But basically, here are some essentials as we wrap this up. Think about securing items for your flu bomb. Think about getting some key supplements as well as essential oils. You have the oregano oil, you have peppermint oil, eucalyptus oil. So those are some key ones that you would need to have. And think about getting golden seal, your vitamin C or vitamin D3, myrrh as a capsule form. I have, and I utilize that well. So what I use myrrh for is if individuals have coughs or just the flu-like symptoms. I found that when I add a myrrh a day, even with my 10-year-old nephew, I'll give him a myrrh a day along with other things, and it tends to help clear up the system quickly, especially for those coughs on the chest. NAC, zinc, copper, and the list of supplements as we showed. System cleanse would be that combination of teas with the Buddha dandelion milk thistle and echinacea. Then you also have your detox tea, spike protein detox tea, which would be the combination of the cinchona bark and woolworth. Hugely important for fighting, especially for the vaccine injuries, long COVID, vaccine detox. It's really, these are key items to help restore individuals. Sun baths, steam baths, sea baths, your throat wrap, your lemon and coconut oil for the fevers. These in some highlights of what you can take away with you. So we pause right here and have a break, and hopefully, and while we're on the break, I'll the documents into the chat that you would be able to grab up. What you can do, Osha, I see that quick question there. When I had COVID and I felt nauseous, I simply took some of the sea salt, pink Himalayan sea salt in my hand and just lick, still keep your head down. And that helped to keep the nausea. Try not to drink too much liquids at one time. And some ginger tea, peppermint tea can help with your nausea and keep you calm. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nash, for such a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. Now, we would like to take about 10 minutes for questions. So those who want to ask Doctor questions, the floor is open. Thank you very much. You can raise your hand so that we give you recognition if you have a question. Do you have a question? Yes, Charles. Can you unmute yourself?
Oui, bonjour.
Okay. Yes, Charles, okay. Okay, Comfort.
Bonjour. J'espère que on m'entend.
Yes, ask the question. Someone will translate it for us. The translators are
Je
there.
suis Charles. Je voudrais savoir si le docteur peut joindre aux présentations, surtout les différents ingrédients qui sont présentés là. On a un souci avec les noms. Généralement, les noms scientifiques.
Some challenges with the scientific names of the ingredient that the doctor is presenting. That she attach to the document this ingredient.
Si on peut faire un lien, parce qu'il y a des noms qui sont scientifiques, nous quand on les entend,
So if we can have the scientific names attached to the documents.
Merci.
Translate it for us. Or Cloutier. John?
Like those
Are you getting me?
hello, can you hear me, Doctor? Dr. Paul, can you hear me? Yeah, I am muted.
Pastor, please go to the French version, translation.
So that you go there. Okay, whilst waiting for it, let us take Angela Donko. Angela. 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 I've seen your hand. Okay. It seems we are having a challenge. You can unmute yourself so that when you speak, we can hear.
Vous pouvez ouvrir vos micros afin qu'en parlant, on puisse vous suivre. Est-ce que vous pouvez ouvrir vos micros? Angela Donko, nous voyons votre main levée.
Yes.
Were able to address almost all of them.
Donc, vous avez pu répondre aux questions posées dans le chat. Allons à Mavis Martin. Ouvrez votre micro.
Good afternoon.
Bon après-midi. Docteur, tu as dit que l'huile d'origan n'est pas bon pour les femmes enceintes. Qu'en est-il des feuilles d'origan? Est-ce qu'on peut utiliser cela?
Leaves, again, we will ask them to use it in concentrated amounts in order to get the benefits. Therefore, we would not suggest that the pregnant woman use oregano leaves. You know, even watercress has abortive properties for a pregnant woman who consume too much watercress can disturb their pregnancy. So in this case, we would want to use oregano leaves in concentrated amounts, higher valued amounts, making a good strong tea, and it's going to have the same effect as if they were to use the oil. So avoid the oregano leaves if you're pregnant.
Okay, thank you. What about children? Can we use the leaves to cook for them? For babies?
Babies, we extend caution for babies.
Okay, what about babies?
Now remember, the oregano leaves can be used by even our breastfeeding moms, right?
Okay.
Or then the moms would breastfeed the babies. But once they get a little older, the oregano, thyme, cilantro, you can make from that for the young children. Yeah. And you would use these teas while they are having the symptom. As they get well, no need to continue using it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next person, Pastor Samuel. Samuel, are you not ready? Okay, let us ask John. John is now online for us to interpret what our brother.
Hello, yes, sir. So I have some for cooking. I would like to know whether it is good and if there is a particular way to use it in cooking and at what quantity and at what interval. I'll be very grateful.
For the oregano,
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about COVID-19 experience. So what we'd recommend is that you use the Okay, you use the super plum soup, and then you can add your oregano in that in order to get the benefits. You know, like so you can use a tablespoon of it and add it to that soup blend when you. Because the amount is just like about 3 cups of water, so you can do 1 to 2 tablespoons of the oregano leaves, dried leaves. You can have the option of the thyme leaves or cilantro leaves are all helpful in this case. 2 tablespoons.
Okay, Doc, thank you very much.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Yes. Can you hear me, doctor? Hello? It's not working.
Okay. Can we recognize Jeremiah? Bella? Can we recognize Monsuru? Akiwandi? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Naj.
Hi.
Yeah, I really want to thank you so much for the presentation. Yeah, my question is that some Adventist medical doctors who are also medical missionaries, so they always encourage the use of medicinal drug to relieve one sickness or the other. But in your lecture today, you didn't mention any medicinal drug. So what do you have to say about medicinal drug? Since you didn't mention them in your lecture.
Okay, so our intent, one, is to show that natural remedies are effective and that they can work. And especially in a state of COVID-19 and its variants, when even from the beginning, there was no medicinal drug giving answers and solutions. So we came in and we had the natural remedies and it worked. Secondly, from a standpoint where we are also medical missionaries and following the blueprint and the guidelines as given, we're told now to stay away from drug medication. So it's not something that we would make recommendations for. And even in cases where drugs are used, they are to be used judiciously. And one of the things is that we would say we did not put individuals on the drug medication, we cannot take them off. That is something to work on with the doctors. So when it comes to COVID, for a medicinal perspective, you would have heard of hydroxychloroquine as some medical people have purported, or ivermectin. And we have substitutes for that here in our protocol from a natural perspective. The cinchona bark is the hydroxychloroquine natural source. It stems from the cinchona bark, and you find all of medicine, allopathic medicine practice, and the use of those medical drugs. There will be some inert ingredient coming from plants. So what we would do is to give you the plant source instead of the drug itself, which would be combined with other toxic compounds. So I do not recommend the medicinal drugs because of my perspective. I'm coming from natural remedies, original medicine, lifestyle medicine, as we're going to go on shortly into some chronic conditions and share natural remedies for those that are effective. And even when it comes to COVID, from a prevention, remedial, recovery standpoint, even with the vaccine injury that is medicinal, that has caused injury to individuals, we're coming and saying, let's help you and work with you to have a recovery from those vaccine injuries. So we come in with natural medicines or agents, so to speak, as opposed to another medicinal drugs that we're not going into that area because there are natural things that works. And where God has provided that works, then we go for it. Now, at the same time, we may have individuals with breathing issues that may need some oxygen intake. We work, so it depends again that there are times when I would work along with folks and their medication. But in this particular COVID situation, COVID-19 and its variants, the natural remedies work. And the vaccine, I'll say, has not been able to be effective in helping individuals to not contract COVID. There were folks who took vaccine and they still contracted COVID more than once. It didn't prevent people from dying, and they're left with injuries. Some of them recognizable injuries, and some of them they're not even recognizing that it's because of the vaccine. We know. And we come in with a detox, and it helps to take care of them, helping them to be better.
Okay, Doc, thank you very much. So, He said even if drugs should be used, it should be used judiciously. Thank you very much, Doc. I've seen Dr. Sefri. Doc, after Dr. Sefri, we take 2 more people, then we bring this session to a close. Dr. Seth. Okay.
Thank you very much, Doc. Yeah, my question is, it relates to the previous question raised. I want to know the concomitant usage of allopathic medicines and natural remedies. Do you recommend that we use them together? In our part of the world, people will go to the hospital when they are using all sorts of herbal medicines, and some even use them together. So, what is your take on that?
It varies. It depends on what folks are doing. For example, when I talk to you about diabetes, folks are on metformin, they're taking the insulin for blood pressure issues. You know, they're on their loads of medicines. So always I would look to see what they are using from the allopathic side, and look to see whether the natural remedies and herbal agents will have any counteraction. If they cannot be compatible, then we hold it off. The individual has to make the choice as to what they would do. Again, we would not tell folks to come off of their medication. The other day, I had someone here at the center with me, and he was on metformin for his diabetes. I simply had a check, see where his values were at night and morning, and I said, okay, I see where your values are. Here's the baseline. He was not interested in continuing his metformin because he knew that it would harm his kidneys as a side effect. And he said, I'm here with you now. I don't want to use the metformin. What do? Insist? Use your metformin? Use the metformin? I said, you're in a safe place. I can monitor and work with you. No. So I was able to give him natural remedies to help with managing his glucose levels. Amazingly, we were able to get it down into normal levels using natural agents, the foods and everything, the meal spacing, non-use of sugars or any natural sweeteners and that sort of stuff. Today, his values are like in normal ranges, and he's off his medication. There are times I do for cancer treatments, and I do herbal chemos. If the individual is on chemotherapy, I do not use the herbal chemo at the same time. I'll use the other supplements. So the folks, we always weigh the situation, see what individuals are doing. Again, as medical missionaries, we do not take people off their medication just like that. There are some of them who are on proton pump inhibitors. You cannot just stop. Some of the statin drugs, you cannot just stop. You got to wean off. There's some of those medications you have to wean off. You have to know what you're doing in order. But again, what we do is the laws of health that restores the body. There's some simple agents, red clover, burdock. Those are simple, nice stuff that wouldn't cause any harm. And as they begin to improve, they take their stats, their readings to the doctors, the blood work to the doctors. They see that they are improvement. There's no need for you to be on this medication because you're no longer running blood pressure or sugar, or your cholesterol level is now reduced into normal states. There's no need for you to be on the statin drugs anymore.
Thank you very much. Because of time, you take one more question. Jeremiah Bella. Jeremiah, are you around?
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. Insightful content. You talking about the sun bath. I was asking, how long should one stay on the sun? Because some part of the country, in some part of the world, the sun is very scorching. When you take, for instance, Ghana, the sun is very scorching. When you go to Nigeria, the sun is not that too scorching. So how long should one stay on the sun? And also, with we are made to believe that too much exposure of the sun causes cancer. So how long should one, if one is doing the sunbath, how long should the person stay on the sun? Thank you.
And it's a good question. Sunlight, it is a law of health, and it brings health to the body. I've seen where individuals are sick, they get out into the sunlight, and it's like a night and day difference. It's like a switch off of their conditions. Like I said, when we had COVID, you go into that sunlight, you sort of like got over your COVID. But how much? Again, everything in moderation, exercising, another law of health, temperance. Now, the darker our complexion is, the more sunlight exposure we need in order to be able to get the benefits from the sun. However, we don't overdo. It's like if you took a torchlight and you pointed it in the dark onto your skin, you could see through, right? Through it, you might see some red edges and that sort of stuff. It's that light penetrating solar power into. Granted that it's helpful, it's important, and we need to exercise caution. You mentioned the intense heat that we're experiencing today, the time of the day that we get out into the sun. So you find the earlier hours. Once in your region, that sunlight gets above 30 degrees from the equator, come up to 30 degrees and above, within that spectrum of time is when you will get the rays from the sun to help you to make vitamin D. That may start like 8:30 a.m. in your region or 9. So getting in there in that sunlight like about 9:30 can still be cool enough. You can make vitamin D and avoid the scorching hot sun that comes up more in the midst of the day, especially these days. There are times in the, when I would go out in the middle of the day and take that hot heat, but it's not at the high intensity. You find though, if individuals go out when it's in that scorching hot sun time, that they can fall sick, dehydrated, headaches, blood pressure can go up and so forth, even though sunlight helps to lower blood pressure. So being cautious, looking at your time. I don't know if you can access a particular app that I have on my phone. It's called DM Minder. And that, it corrected me, DMINDER. And the Minder app, it is just changing my D and MINDER. So that app tells me what time of the day we're able to make vitamin D, as well as it tells me when the sun is over 30 degrees and above, and I can get out there comfortably. The breeze is cooler in the morning. As you saw, we were putting some cold rags on the foreheads of our people that tend to keep their head cooled down while they were out in that hot. Don't go in the air condition straight away after you're in the heat. Don't go and take any cold baths after you're in the heat to make sure you maintain your health. Keeping your cotton shirt can help you to keep cool. So you're there in the sun, your face, your hands, your legs, sufficient areas open for you to be able to make vitamin D. You don't need to expose your entire body. When you do that, then you could heighten your risk of getting too much sun. If you're working out in the sun, simply wear like cotton clothing that keeps you cool, drink your water, eat fruits and vegetables. All of those things combined helps you to avoid skin cancer. Skin cancer comes in when we're having lots of omega-6 fatty acids in our diet, some of those oils that we're consuming, and that can be problematic. But across the board, it is still a valid law of health that can be utilized. But be careful as we get closer to the end of time. You don't want to go when that scorching hot sun, like all into like we're having like 33 degrees and above. You could injure yourself. So earlier in the day would be better.
Thank you very much, Doc. May God bless you. I'd like to bring this section to a close. Indeed, you've given us weapons, tools to work with. We strongly believe, by the grace of God, we will become efficient medical missionaries. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. I've seen some hands. After the next presentation, we will be having the opportunity of asking all the questions together. So we are breaking for the next 10 minutes. The only 10 minutes. The next 10 minutes, we'll be back to continue from here. So now the time is 1:37 and we are coming at 1:47. 1:47, we'll be here. We'll be in class. Thank you very much and may God bless you. Dr. Nash, can you pray for us to break us?
Yes, certainly. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the information that you've provided. We thank you that in the midst of COVID that you provided answers to help so many individuals. And even now, this group of medical missionaries who are learning and they're seeing that there is a way that they can take care of the bodies of themselves, their family, those in the community with COVID-19 experience and even the effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. That as they come to understand, practice, see for themselves and benefit, that they would be able to help so many people and to share and know that you continue to be the great physician and the true healer and provided these agents in nature for our support. Be with us now as we break and separate is our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. So in the next 10 minutes, we are meeting. 1:47, we are meeting. Thank you.